Yo, what's going on, everyone? I know it's late for a review about the most used hand cannon in the game, but I wanted to give you my opinion on it as a controller user, and if I think this really is the best hand cannon to choose as your go-to. As for the spare rations that I have, I use small bore ricochet rounds. I have snapshot sights and rangefinder on it. I unfortunately have a reload masterwork, which isn't that bad, but I would have actually liked a stability masterwork instead. Even a handling would have been better. I've talked about this on my previous video when it comes to the Luna's Howl versus Not Forgotten. My personal opinion is you're going to want to find something that has really good stability in your hand cannon, because if you honestly can't lay persistent shots on an enemy, then what's the point, really? Range is a great thing to have as far as a keyboard and mouse user go, but for controllers, we want stability. Honestly, getting that reticle on target is the #1 priority that we should have. So if you put spare rations back to back with Luna's Howl, you notice that the stats, they differ here and there. But what makes Luna's Howl such a great weapon is not the stats necessarily. It's actually what type of weapon it is. Unfortunately, spare rations, it's a lightweight frame, so it makes you faster, gives you better handling. Luna's Howl, it's a precision frame. Its recoil pattern is more predictably vertical, and it fires quickly with high accuracy. Now, without trying to control the reticle, when you fire this weapon, you'll notice that spare rations just completely kick straight up to the sky. Luna's Howl doesn't. That's what happens when you use a precision frame weapon. It stays on target when you fire it. You don't even have to actually try. Now, this doesn't mean that spare rations is a bad weapon by any means. It just means that you have to really pace your shots. You got to focus when you're shooting it, and you got to understand how that recoil direction works, and you got to control it. Now, when you compare distances between spare rations and Luna's Howl, you'll see that basically it can 3-tap to the head, but it can't 2-tap one body like Luna's Howl can. Now, that's just the intrinsic perk on Luna's Howl, which means that it's working. The good thing on spare rations is that you will get that consistent shot the further out you go. So you can get a 4-tap to the head at 35 meters. That's something that Luna's Howl just can't do. So my personal opinion as a controller user and somebody who's decent in the Crucible, I'd have to say that spare rations is definitely a good hand cannon in your primary slot. I wouldn't choose it over Luna's Howl, but it's something that I would play casually, like in Control or something, just to have fun with and just to honestly mess around with. Now, this is all just my personal opinion, based off my playstyle and what I'm comfortable with, so don't let it stop you from finding that perfect spare rations roll. Just remember to find something really high in stability, so that way you make sure that you have consistent shots on target. If you found any of this information useful, let me know, as it helps me create better content in the future. Other than that, enjoy the rest of the Spare Rations gameplay, and you guys take it easy.